All right, thank you for staying with the Monday Report. Let's get into that discussion. We're calling it the KNUT and KUPPET divide, and we're trying to seek the way forward for learners and parents as well. Joining me in studio again is Esbon Agola, Deputy Secretary General KNUT, and Moses Durima, Deputy Secretary General KUPPET. Thank you, gentlemen, for staying with us. And Esbon, I'll start with you on this. So there seems to be a disagreement between the two unions. KNUT says the strike is off, KUPPET says the strike is on. Let's take your demands one by one. Similar demand, item 2. Immediate confirmation of 46,000 intern teachers into permanent and pensionable. What was your agreement with TSC on this?
Yeah, thank you once again, Trevor. And I said that we do not have a disagreement with KUPPET because we are not in any competition. What we are doing is we are in what we call labor relations with the employer, the Teacher Service Commission. And we have brought in issues that are of concern that we feel need to be addressed. The issue of the 46,000 junior school teachers who have not been confirmed on permanent and pensionable is an issue that we have brought up with the Teacher Service Commission. And we felt that the employment on interns is not procedural. Considering that the employment, the two levels of employment that the Teacher Service Commission honors is employment, contractual employment and employment on permanent and pensionable basis, for which there are special conditions under which maybe contractual teachers are supposed to be acquired. But on permanent and pensionable basis is the first step of employment of teachers who enter into service. And that is why we have told the Teacher Service Commission, and it is in the public domain and it is known, that for them to acquire the services of these 46,000 teachers, and according to the promise that they were given by the national government, was that after 2 years they were supposed to be employed on permanent and pensionable basis, which was supposed to begin in the month, according to them, was in the month of January 2025. Mm-hmm. But when we talked to them, they were ready to factor it in for them to be employed in July. In July 2024.
Okay.
Now, it is a conversation that is ongoing. It is also in the public domain. You've had CS Finance, the new CS Finance, and the chairman of a parliamentary committee on budget, talking about these matters and how they are factored in the money. So our push is that these teachers should be employed on permanent and pensionable basis.
But it does not
TSC,
happen. Yes.
TSC have not refused that they are not going to confirm these teachers. Okay. The only thing that they are saying is the availability of funds that will enable these teachers to be employed on permanent and pensionable. One thing that we should know, even as TSC is our employer, TSC is independent, yes, as a commission, but they do not generate their own income. They depend on income that comes from the national budget. Okay. And so if it were that these monies are available, and that is why we have pushed this thing through the Education Committee in Parliament, through the Finance Committee in Parliament, that these monies should be available. The surety that we want, and that which has come, is that nobody is refusing that this should not be done. Okay. They're all owning up that this should be done.
Which they did from the previous time before you even called the strike. Yes. So why did you put it as a demand? Because they had not refused from the onset. It's just they had not implemented it.
We put it because we saw the challenges that these, our young brothers and sisters and our sons and daughters had undergone when they were out in the streets, demanding to be employed on permanent and pensionable basis.
So when you called off the strike, what was the agreement?
Trevor, allow me to complete this statement. That we took it because, you see, they are non-unionizable, first of all. Okay. And so when they were in the street, we saw the danger that was. So we took it as a union to say we can stand in the gap for them, so that there is a surety and a guarantee that they're employed. So when we were bringing it up as an issue that we should be discussed with the TSC, we were to tell the TSC that we have this matter that is unresolved, even as we were facing the major challenge of the non-implementation of the phase 2 of the salaries.
All right. Moses, you had the same demand. Are you buying the argument from KNUT that the TSC has said that they have not refused to employ, it's just that they don't have the resources?
Thank you very much for that question. I want to begin by saying that our coming together with the KNUT was supposed to create a bulwark for forcing the Teacher Service Commission to listen to the teachers. We are dealing with a very cruel employer who has no respect for teachers, for unions. Because for a number of years, we have not had constructive engagement, that we engage on issues that all of us are agreeing. The Teacher Service Commission comes with a budget and loads it on the teachers. So the coming together would have helped us to create an environment of dialogue where there is respect between us. The issue of interns is a global concern all over the world. The government of the world are privatizing education. And one of the ways of privatizing education is casualizing employment of teachers. So employment of interns is a threat to the teaching profession. Because going forward, the government can decide now to be employing the cheap labor. And then the profession will just die a natural death. So for us, we are fighting against casualization of education in Kenya, of teaching profession. And we are going to die there. To say that interns are not unionizable is defeatist, because you can see the mammoth problem that is going to create in the teaching profession. Teachers will be employed like casual laborers. That means it will compromise the quality of education in the country. The poor who are in public schools will not compete with those of us who are taking the children to private schools. So we are going to create a class society. Mm-hmm. Because the government is running away from the budget, education budget. They will be able to run away, but compromise education for the poor. Okay. So that is why we are asking even the public to join this strike, so that we see these young people employed, so that their children get quality education. Okay. Without which the grade 7 and 8 today is subjected to guesswork. There is no learning. And that's a generation that is going to be wiped out by ignorance. So we are saying that the government must prioritize education, and the public education and well-financed, so that they are able to compete with the private providers and the children of the
Yeah, but KNUT says that the 46,000 intern teachers cannot be moved to permanent and pensionable just yet, because the government says that they don't have the resources for it. Therefore, the strike is uncalled for right now.
Umbija, these people have been promising for up to times, and you are the one who is in the media. The president has done it. The ministers have done it. But every time that we are nearing employment of these people, because we are getting employed in August, they change the tax, now start saying there is no money because of finance bill and so on. This country is losing 2 billion every day into corruption. Yeah. And this corruption is being perpetuated by the same government. If we don't press these people to look for money, they will never look for that money, because they are not interested in the education for the poor.
Okay. So Hezbon, what was the concrete agreement when you had the meetings? Because you said that they were supposed to employ them in July, but they've said that they don't have the resources. That's a month ago. So what was the solid agreement that you can tell the intern teachers today that this is the reason why KNUT called off the strike, because you were told you will get the letters by this time?
What we did was to give room. We give room because we understand the circumstances as they are. We did not say that, and we are not speaking for TSC anyway, or neither are we speaking for the government. But you see, it is a government that is our government. And being our government, though we want to push them, because we are also taxpayers, but when they are committing themselves to particular issues, we say we give them space to implement. Now, if they can implement this and be backdated to July, it's okay.
Okay.
If they feel that the finances are available, the surety that they have given, because nobody is denying, and I'm repeating these words, nobody is denying that these teachers are not supposed to be employed on permanent and pensionable. The issue of education, privatization of education, and the way people are taking education in the global perspective, it is there, and people need to protect, yes. And that is why we are saying, if the Code of Regulation for Teachers is saying that we have 2 ways of employing teachers, you should not introduce any other way of employing teachers. But now the surety of employing these 46,000, and we are insisting these 46,000 be employed, is the surety we are working with.
So you've been given the surety?
Yes.
When will they be employed? Because they were supposed to be employed in July. That's a month
They were
ago.
supposed to be employed in July. And I say again, Trevor, this thing is in the public domain. It is not a discussion of KNUT. Neither is it a discussion of KUPPET. It is in the public domain that after there was a push, be it the political divide, be it the employer, they all saw the sense that it was against the Code of Regulation for Teachers in the manner in which these teachers were employed, despite the fact that the president said that they be employed. So correcting the wrong that was done required some amount of money. It was about 18.7 billion that was supposed to go into this. Now, this was supposed to be factored in the budget. In the finance that was signed by His Excellency the President the other day, you remember it was said that that money was factored in.
Okay.
Then later on, when there was change of government, the new CS said that this money is not available, but the chairman of the budgetary said that the money is. So what we should say is, if there is that commitment, what we are saying as KNUT is that money be made available so that these people are employed.
So under what circumstance did you then call off your strike? Because there had to be some tangible statement that you're given.
Now, the issues of contestation that we had were not this one particular, that this one must be done. We had 5 issues that we had given. The first one was the implementation of phase 2, which so far in the current end of this month is about a few days. They have said that they are going to factor in that money. End of the month, they were working on the pay bill, the payroll, and usually the TSC closes the payroll by around 15th of every month, and they pay the teachers by around this time, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Now, by the time that we were going to speak to the TSC on 21st, that is last week on Wednesday, they had not closed the payroll. And Brother Nturima, you are there, they said they had not closed the payroll so that we could agree that this money, 13.3 billion, that had been found, be factored in so that it can be spread into the different ways in which the payroll can be rolled. And that is the work that has been going on. And even as we were calling off the strike on Sunday, yesterday, it is still something that we followed up because we want to be very practical. We followed it up, and there was a surety that the people in the finance department at TSC were burning the midnight oil so that the money to factor in that money.
All right.
I think
that's one.
That's a position.
Let me interject.
Because you mentioned him and you were in the same meeting. So let's hear what he has to say about that particular issue. I'll come back. You'll finish.
It is mischievous for the Teacher Service Commission.
Yes.
You know, we entered an agreement last year for the money to be paid in 2 phases. Now, these people closing their payroll on 15th, they wait until we come to meet on 21st to tell us that now we are going to factor in the money. What stopped them from factoring in the money for all that time?
So you feel it was 6 days late?
Yes. So it is mischievous because they realize that we have called up for a strike. And now to give us a bit so that we withdraw.
But didn't you also jump the gun because the money has not been sent to you yet? They're going to pay you from 24th, like KNUT says. So why did you then call the strike to continue, and yet you haven't seen that it's not been implemented? Why didn't you wait?
we wait until it is implemented.
The payroll is on the 15th. You had us sitting in 21st. You're paid on 24th. Why didn't you wait?
We could not have waited because there was nothing written. You see, you don't come to a, you know, it is, you know, an agreement is between parties. We have an agreement with you, and we are saying that you are not implementing.
So if the money reflects on between now and by the time they're closing, will you then call off the strike?
That is not what the only issue that we had. We have several issues that must be met by the Teachers Service Commission. Those teachers who are out there are giving their bare minimum, the irreducible minimums for them to go back to class. We cannot come here and say that we are given 6 demands. Now one has been met, let's go back.
Okay, fine. So on what basis did you call off the strike? Because on that particular aspect, you seem to be reading from different scripts.
Thank you. I want to say this, Trevor, and I said it, that Teacher Service Commission does not generate its own income. They depend on monies that come from the Treasury. They could not commit themselves to closing the payroll on 15th and pay monies that they did not have. So in the process, and I'm sure even Torima knows, that it is not a conversation that started on 21st. This conversation started immediately we issued notices, and they were looking for the money. And they only made a pronouncement and they called us when they had now been assured that the money has been released from Treasury to go to the TSC to expend.
Okay.
And that is the surety that they said on the table. Now we can work on our payroll before we do what? And that is why there was a delay.
So it is the 26th today. Have you started receiving, have any of your members told you that they've received their money?
If our members will tell us they will receive their monies, because in fact, our members are the ones who give us information, and teachers are very good.
So have they received their money?
As at today,
because it's 26.
No, as at today, they have not received. But Trevor, you know, making changes in a payroll does not take a night or 2 nights. It needs something to be worked on. And so TSC are working on that. Let me say, and the month has also not come to an end, so that we can make demands out of a month. Our monthly calendar starts on 1st, and it ends either on 28th in a month that is called, I don't know what. Then we have those ones that end on 30th, and there is the other one that ends on 31st.
Okay, the second issue.
So the second issue is, we had the issue of third-party deductions. And it was an issue of contestation that these third-party deductions belong to teachers. They have taken loans, and they're being called by banks, and they're not releasing. When we went to the ground, because we have officers in 110 branches of KNUT in Kenya, we have had surety that the third-party deductions that we were demanding have already reached our cooperative societies, our education fund, our burial and benevolent scheme, the banks that gave our members loans. Now our members have said this one has been done.
Fulfilled.
It has been.
Do you agree to it?
Yes.
Moses?
So I think there is one...
Have any of your members told you that that has been actualized?
None of those things have been actualized up to now. We had a demand of the capitation for medical insurance for the teachers, which had been cut by the government. Up to date, it has not been submitted. In fact, teachers are being chased away from private facilities together with faith-based facilities. Teachers are now being treated at government hospitals. So you can see that embarrassment. And even before that capitation was reduced, the minute has been mistreating teachers. A teacher go to a facility and takes 7 hours to be treated because there is pre-authorization. These are some of the things we are saying that they should not tell us we have submitted money or we are going to submit. We want us to sit down and agree, because we are not part of the agreement between the underwriter, which is Minet, and the Teacher Service Commission. It's both of them. For us, we are third parties.
Okay.
But we receive the bashing from the teachers that it is not working.
All right.
So what I don't want us to measure in is the fact that the commission doesn't have its own money. You know, when the mouth is aching, where is the nose? You know, TSC is part of the government. And for us as teachers, We don't know how they deal with their budget. And this is an independent commission that must source for its budget from the government and execute those things that it has put down. So to tell us we have not been given money is escapist. You are running away from your responsibilities.
Okay.
For example, if there are agreement, they must tell the government. For example, when they reduced the budget of the CBA, they knew the crisis they were creating. They never reduced the operation of the commission.
Okay.
They reduced the teachers' money, which means they have no respect. That is why I call them a very cruel employer.
But you're both in that meeting. Did you raise these issues?
These people did not want to talk. They came and
KUPPET or not?
The commission.
The commission did not want to talk to you.
Call us for a meeting.
But you're both in the meeting, and NUT seems to have had a way forward.
No, I think maybe they wanted a way of leaving the negotiation table to go away.
Who wanted to leave? NUT.
No, I don't want to blame them. But let me tell you, when the commission came, they didn't have an agenda. There was no agenda for the meeting. They just came and said, if we are to give you your CBA, how will you behave? And then we told them, no, we have a number of issues we want to discuss. No, for the other things we can't discuss. But we want us, that item that we are going to give you, whether we shall go and have a press statement, all of us, and agree. So for them, they had a predetermined mind of what they wanted. Okay. So we told them, no, you people, we don't have an agenda here. How do we come to this meeting? He said, no, we are not coming here to argue. You tell us whether you'll take what we have or you are not going to take. Okay. They were not interested with the discussions. Okay. So they came, we said that we are going to accept what, we want to listen to what you are saying. So they said that we are from the treasury, we have gotten 13 point what billion, and we are paying the CBA. Can we now go and hold a press statement? We said, let us have time out to go and agree. And that is how we went out and agreed that we have a statement that our issues have not been canvassed. Okay. So we need the commission to commit itself in discussing some of the issues, most of the issues. In fact, we had 6 of them, so that we deal with them once and for all. Yeah. Okay.
So how, what is the third issue? Because you seem you're in the same meeting, but you have different outcomes.
Trevor, first of all, you cannot attend a meeting without agenda. The meeting had written agenda. We have 2 issues, that you have an agenda, and we have the execution of the agenda. But let me say, the second issue that I talked about was third-party remittance, and I say that one, our members are the ones who have committed. I even have a message in Mombasa and somewhere that has been done. The third one was the issue of medical scheme. Medical scheme has been thorny. It has been thorny since inception in 2015, with a lot of challenges here, there, and where. And we have said that the monies for the medical scheme also belong to the teachers because it is a deduction from their medical allowance, which is in their salaries. So the delayance of releasing this money to the underwriter, who is Minet, is causing a lot of challenges because they can now not pay the service providers. Okay. And the delayance, because this money is deducted, every of these monies are deducted right from the treasury and then submitted to TSC. Now, what we have been saying is that this money should be released so that our members can get the services as they are required. So we share in the same sentiments with our brothers KUPPET.
Mm-hmm. But they are adamant that they're still on the street.
I've not finished on that. Yeah. We have raised that issue, and tomorrow, on 27th, tomorrow, at 9 a.m., ASNAT and the underwriter Minet and the TSC are having a meeting on this matter. A letter has been written. I will sit in the meeting. And we have, though the contract is between the 2 parties, as third party, we say we are the watchdogs of the teachers on behalf of the teachers. Okay. So we are coming in and we set up a structure, 2 structures. We have structures at county level called the county governing councils. And we have at the national level what we call the National Governing Council. So tomorrow we are meeting as the National Governing Council because of the crisis that we have, so that we can face these matters. Let me tell you, Trevor, where people, in the labor movement, there is what we call dialogue. People must talk. Even out of a formal meeting like the one we had on 21st, before that I said immediately we wrote our grievances, we were having undertone talks. Even after what transpired at the Kenya School of Government when we had a meeting, we still have been having undertone talks. And out of these talks is what has even gave birth to this meeting that we are having tomorrow. So as KNUT, we are facing these things on a table, on a talk. And that is why we felt, let us give room to dialogue.
Okay, so why can't KUPPET do the same thing?
We cannot talk forever because, I mean, the medical scheme has been dysfunctional, and it has been here since 2015. Teachers have died, they have suffered. And we are still now talking about meeting Minet and meeting the TSC. These are, you know, people who have a marriage certificate and you want to come in. How will you manage this?
So how do you resolve this issue if you don't talk?
These things must be, you know, we are recommending that we need now the third and the fourth tenderers when it is coming to expire, so that we get variety of treatment from these underwriters. Minet has really failed teachers. In fact, when it was introduced, we went to court and they stopped it from deducting from KUPPET members. But at one point, we decided, no, let us move in so that our members benefit. But now it has become untenable. We cannot keep on intervening every time. They are not paying us. Every time that a teacher cannot be operated, taking several hours, teachers are dying.
So what is the end game for KUPPET?
The end game is that we want now the government to sit with us and agree that they must open those tenders, because it is a tender for one company.
Okay, but that can only be done on a sitting table, which is what KNUT is saying that they are having a discussion.
But now they have not called up for structure. You know, we deal with the structure in negotiations. We don't deal with the tea taking. You know, that one is going to take tea, and you take tea and walk out. The same scenario obtains even after that.
Let me bring up some feedback. A lot of it is coming through. But for you, yes.
Let me say something about this taking tea. At the county levels where I attend, the KUPPET are represented through their executive secretaries at county level. On the county governing board.
Those meetings collapse a long time.
No, they are represented. So if they're represented, then I wonder if then they send the officers to go and take tea, because I don't believe. Because anything has challenges. Let me say that we cannot clear the challenges of this medical scheme once and for every day, every day, everything's emerge. But it is only this sitting down and correcting what is happening which gives a way forward.
Okay. Let's bring up the feedback. A lot of it is coming through, and then we'll talk about the way forward now, because it seems to be reading from different scripts. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya, let's see what you're saying here. Mose Young says government should settle down all debts which teachers are asking for so learners can get back to school for third term. A lot of confusion is making parents be in a dilemma. Okay, let's bring up what you're saying. Nixon says, dear secondary school heads, kindly communicate to parents within the remaining few hours whether parents should bring their students for the third term studies or not. In fact, we'll come back to that question so that you answer it. Brian says, please, can you ask the KNUT counterparts when were those demands met? Did they even consult the primary teachers? Because the last time I checked, we have primary interns who are earning as low as 13,000 per month. I hope you're writing down these questions so that you respond to them. Our question as interns is, when is the date and the month? Just give us the date and the month. Manubi says the government should just listen to the teachers. Okay. Brenda says, kindly ask the KNUT representative. Suppose he was a teacher at Kileleshwa Junior School and he has a family to take care of. How will he budget the 17,000? Let him give us the breakdown. Okay. Elijah says mistrust and supremacy battles between the two unions is not helpful. Challenges faced by teachers are largely congruent. KNUT cannot purport to support what KUPPET opposes. Yes, and I'll start with you, Moses. So what is the position now? Because some parents who are yet to take their children to school are wondering, should they not?
We are asking parents not to risk with their children because teachers have walked away to look for their money. They are not in school. So not unless they give their schools to the members of Board of Governors, because teachers are not there, including principals, because they are also members and they are affected. So what we are asking parents is that to keep their children at home until the government calls off the strike which they have called. Because this strike has been called by the government.
Okay.
Because when you keep quiet when there is a problem for 2 months, that is what you expect.
But there are those who are saying that this strike called that KUPPET is insisting on is ill-timed. In fact, they're saying there's some sense of malice. You're doing it at a time to inflict the maximum pain. It's the third term. Exams are coming. Parents are worried. Students are worried. What would you say to that student and that parent who's watching?
The strike is not called by the unions. The unions were driven to call for the strike because this CBA we are talking about, this MINET we are talking about, this JSS we are talking about, and many others, the employer has had them for a long time. We have been discussing these things. We have been trying to reach out. It has become difficult.
Okay.
So for us, the trigger of this strike was the CBA, which was not honored. And you can see the trend in the country. This is a government of kutenda, tumetenga, tumefanya, you know, all these things. So teachers feared that their issues won't be forgotten.
Okay.
Because if you can withdraw what is in the agreement, you cannot take care of the teachers' health,
okay,
who are giving services to the government. You want teachers to teach for free.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay,
that is where we are.
So Esbon, the parents who are watching you tonight wondering, should I take my student to school or not? What do they do?
It is the prerogative of the secondary school parent to decide whether to take their children to school or not, because the schools are there for the children to attend, but KUPPET has called for a strike for the teachers. So it is the prerogative of the parent to decide. Two, the good teachers have asked me good questions here about when we agreed for them to be paid 13,000 Kenya shillings, which date and which month. I think this question is not for me, it is for the teachers themselves. Because when they gave themselves to be employed as interns and agreed to sign to be paid 13,000, we as not opposed. We said there is no employment on interns and that we should wait until employment is done on permanent and pensionable. So we are still insisting on the same, that this 13,000 that they were given is an abuse to the employment because it is not procedural, and that they should be employed procedurally according to what we understand is the way of employing teachers on permanent and pensionable. Then two, if personally I cannot budget on 100,000 shillings, how would I advise somebody on how to budget on 17,000 shillings? Because I feel 17,000 shillings is something that somebody should not earn teaching in a class. In fact, I was asked this question sometimes back somewhere else, and I said that the minimum salary for a teacher to earn to go to a class should be around 150,000 shillings. So if a teacher asks me how to budget on 17,000, I should also ask that the teacher should also help me to see how do we budget on this. And that is why we are standing as KNUT to say these teachers are being paid not what we call in labor equal pay for equal work done. Yeah. They are doing much more than they are being paid. And that is why we are saying they should be confirmed and they should be categorized in the perimeters of permanent and pensionable.
You know, there's been a general instability in the teaching fraternity. Strikes have always been there since time immemorial. When do we expect to see this unrest brought to an end, in your view? What needs to be done?
Trevor, I think in the dispensation that we are having now, the teachers have been very patient, even in the leadership of the teachers since the last strike that we had, I think in 2019. We have been virtually very stable, and we have really tried to hold ourselves so that we could give space for cordial relationship and smooth running of the schools. And I am happy to say that teachers have really been patient on that matter. It is just unfortunate that when teachers displayed their patience to that extent, and we were even ready, and teachers had prepared to go for third term. They were prepared. They had even prepared to open the schools today. Then somebody comes up and says in the budget that the monies that was supposed to implement second phase of the CBA is now not available, and the teachers went to the bank and they did not get this money in July. I think hell broke loose. So as he says, and I want to agree with him, that this strike and the notices that we gave was driven from other quarters, and we picked it up.
Okay.
Yes.
But according to you, the strike is off.
It is off based on the understandings, and I think I've explained myself clearly why we have put it on. But that does not also say that if the strike is off, then the talks are also off.
Okay.
Yes.
So for KUPPET, what will it take for you to call off the strike? You said that it's not you who called the strike, but we know there are demands that you want. Should they all be met, or are there irreducible minimums that you can say, if we get this, then we are willing to come back on the negotiating table?
Trevor, it is fundamentally clear that the teachers are on the street, and their demands are very clear, even from all the bystanders, the people called reasonable bystanders. What we are asking the government to do, and even today when we met the Minister for Labor, we told him we were ready, even at midnight, to be called by the Teacher Service Commission to agree on issues so that we call off the strike. For us, if we are called, we are ready, so that they come and agree that these issues need to be addressed, and they are addressing the issues to our satisfaction. Because, again, we cannot keep on going on strike, because a strike is dearly draining to leaders and the teachers themselves. But now that teachers are out, the way to return them back is to sort out these problems amicably. We don't want to say that they sort out like this or that, but let them come with something tangible that we can hang on.
All right. So for you, if you're called to have the negotiation table, you are ready to go?
We are ready to talk, because we are created to talk. Right. Union issues are negotiated issues.
Okay.
So we cannot run away from discussions. But when they come with a fixed mind, then we shall walk out.
Have you been invited for the conversation happening tomorrow between KNUT?
Well, for us, we have been with the minister today.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, we have a letter from Minet.
Okay.
But you see, we have attended about 2 or 3 meetings, which do not yield anything.
People so will you attend this one?
I don't know those who are appointed whether they will attend. Okay. But for me now, what is obtaining right now is that we are on strike. Okay. And we may even refuse to go and take that tea.
All right. Yes. Final remarks.
Yeah, I'm saying, Trevor, with all fairness and also being a Christian, that we should always be fair in what we are saying, and let us be rational, and let us not be populist. I said here we have been invited to talk tomorrow. My brother has also confirmed the same. I had said here we have given room for dialogue. My brother was talking about no room for dialogue. Now he has accepted that there should be room for dialogue.
You are putting things in.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just. Maybe I did not get, but it's like in the passing, somewhere along the corridors, I had something like that. Let us be the teachers' representative, take the lead and fight for the teachers within the parameters that we know we can win for the teachers. Okay. And that is why let us give this talk a chance. The KUPPET are our brothers, they're our friends, and these teachers, they all belong to us regardless of which level they're teaching. Let us go for the best for them.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
For me, what I'm saying is that I want to thank the teachers today. They have done great to the service of this nation. We want to encourage them to come out tomorrow and look for their money, because nobody will help them in this. Otherwise, we are also asking the parents that if they want to take their children to school, let them find out how they will take care of them, so that they are not going to indulge into other things that are not educational.
All right.
Otherwise, with us, with KNUT, we are looking forward to create a federation. Perhaps when the strike is gone by a federation, then that will be possible whenever we want to deal with the government.
Yeah.
The federation will now issue the demands itself,
Okay.
so that no union, backs out before the other.
Okay.
So that we deal with this government, because we are dealing with a monster.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, that's how we leave it for now, gentlemen.
Thank you very
so
much.
Hesbon Agola, Deputy Secretary General NAT, and Moses Durima, Deputy Secretary General KUPPET. There's still no way forward, but we'll see and keep an eye on the development of this conversation. All right, we're taking a quick break. When you come back, still have a lot more. Don't go too far.